Everybody, thank you for coming. If you could all have a seat, Bill. Thanks for coming. I guess the snowplows got through and you're all able to make it here, so appreciate that. I'm not going to take up a lot of time. I'm Greg. For those who don't know me, I'm Greg Folsom. I'm the city manager. I just am here to introduce Greg Nelson. He is our recruiter from Ralph Anderson and Associates, and he's pretty much going to run the show here. Just a reminder for council, this is not a council meeting. It's not an agendized meeting, so council just is here to listen. So thank you very much.
All right, welcome everybody. As Greg said, my name is Greg Nelson. Be easy to keep the Greg straight. I'm with Ralph Anderson and Associates. We are a public sector search firm and recruiters of public sector executives ranging from city managers to police chiefs, fire chiefs, all sorts of positions, but only for public sector clients. That's our specialty. And we've been in continuous operation since 1972, based just near Sacramento, not too far away. Myself, I am a former police chief. I did a 20-year policing career with the last 4 years as chief, and particularly enjoy doing police chief recruitments. This is about my 10th or 11th one in the last few years, and looking forward to helping you find your next police chief for the city of Clearlake. The purpose of this meeting today largely is for me to listen to all of you. And the city's provided this forum and this venue for me as your recruiter to have the community's input in my mind as we go out and set about recruiting candidates. So I will take the opportunity to spend just a few minutes and give you like a 10,000 foot view of the process so you kind of have a sense of what to expect. But largely I'm just going to ask a few open-ended questions, record your answers on the flip chart, and then just 3 main themes, and it'll be me asking questions and listening to you. One important ground rule I think when we get to this is going to inform our recruiting strategy on what we're looking for, what types of candidates, what types of backgrounds, skill sets, what some of the challenges are here. I don't want this to get into talking about individual people. There may be local candidates that are interested, there may not be. This is not in any way designed to elicit input about individual people, only traits and qualities. So, with that said, recruitment process. We're going to spend about 2 weeks and develop this candidate profile. And this is a piece of information that is designed really to be the foundation of the whole recruitment. It will help us in deciding where we're going to look for candidates, what types of candidates we're looking for, what skill sets, what challenges that candidates should be prepared to address, what's going to fit, what's going to work here, what's going to be successful. And I've met with a number of key people all day today, and this is another important meeting, and then following this I'll be meeting with your council. And I cannot come into any recruitment really with an idea in mind ahead of time what you'll need for your police chief. Every city's different, and what will be successful in one city is not successful in another. And so we start off with a clean slate and a clean piece of paper and pull all this together to help design our recruitment strategy. We also will use that to help filter and select and screen candidates and decide which candidates are more likely to be successful here than not, which should be interviewed and which should not, what those interviews should look like, what questions we're going to ask, all of this. And so you can see this is all really important. So any questions about process? I'll just say generally about 3 months, about 90 days. We'll spend about 2 weeks developing the profile, 6 weeks outreach and recruiting, and then a few weeks in selection at the end. Yes, sir.
Are you with California League of Cities?
Our organization attends our conference every year, yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yes. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Will there be another opportunity for community input, or is this?
This is it, yeah. This is going to help us guide our strategy on what types of candidates we should look for. Okay. Having said that, I just want to ask a few open-ended questions. And the first one I always find is really interesting in these community meetings. Whoops. And I'm really interested in this. I really want to know from all of you, from anyone that cares to share, what is it about this community, about Clearlake, that you're proud of? Somebody's got to break the ice and jump in.
Well, we're trying to figure out which part of it. We're trying to figure out which part of it.
The community comes together very well in times of emergency, tends to support each other.
That would be the top of my list.
Oh, I think this is broken here. I hope it's. I'll paraphrase for room, but if I don't get it right, tell me. How about another one? Yes, ma'am.
I think we're a small community too, and with that rural small feel that I think we like. I like.
We're a diverse community, close-knit, diversity.
Yes, sir.
You see, because we are small, we tend to be a friendlier community.
Yes, ma'am.
I like the can-do spirit of the
Oh,
people
good.
that are involved.
I think we're a changing, developing community because we are changing from a basically retired community to more of a working community.
Okay.
Thing we like.
Great.
The familiarity.
Anyone else?
We're also, I think, all appreciative of our environment. We have such abundance between the lake and the tree. You know, we just all have that appreciation. I think it's part of what brings us here.
Yes, sir.
Size of the community. It's a small community, but we all tend to get together when we can, for whatever reason. Supporting us, helping each other. I'm volunteers.
Okay, very good.
Pride in the police department.
From within the police department?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we're also all very passionate about our city and
good.
the future that it is going to have. Except for that thing right there.
Except for this thing here, yeah. All right. Could you repeat the last part you said?
Passionate about the city and the future that it's going to have.
can't hear, Greg.
I'm sorry?
We can't hear.
You can't hear? She said,
We can't hear what anybody says.
okay. She said passionate about the city and the future that it has. And if you want to move up, yeah, there's plenty of room.
Is anyone else having trouble hearing? Do I need to
You can come up and
put
sit
the
next to
speakers
me,
on?
Linda. It's okay.
Yeah?
Okay, that'll work. And then I'll just repeat it, yeah. Good. All right, can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay.
Clearlake is relatively a safe community compared to other cities of this size.
Okay. He said relatively safe community compared to other cities of size. Any other items you would want to list, the things you're proud of, or, and let me just pivot that a little bit to reason that perhaps somebody not from this area might want to come here.
Natural beauty.
Yeah, natural beauty. Yes, sir.
I think race relations here are very good.
Good.
Never had any, I know I've been here since '87, any conflict.
Okay. He said race relations here are very good, no conflicts, and he's been here since the 80s. Any others? Yes, sir.
The city's resourceful, innovative.
Oh, very good. Resourceful and innovative, the city is.
Were you speaking specifically about the Public Works Department?
I think so.
Yes, ma'am.
Got a lot of volunteers.
A lot of volunteers.
Hopeful.
I'm sorry?
Hopeful.
Hopeful.
Sports activities.
Sports activities?
Lake being the greatest, one of our greatest assets is the lake out there.
Great.
With the tournaments, bass tournaments and other types of outdoor activities.
All right, come on in. We're just collecting some input in the police chief search. And this first question is some things about the community that you're particularly proud of. So if you have anything you want to add in here, we're just about to move to the next. Don't want me to put you on the spot.
Oh, please do. I'm not from this community. I live in Kelseyville. I'm transferred from San Francisco, but what I do shop here, and I'm someone who investigates government corruption at some point. So what I have seen is an improvement since I've lived here the past 2-3 years in all of Lake County, Clear Lake especially. I've seen a lot of really good law enforcement work, in my opinion.
Okay.
You know, everyone gets 440s, so, you know, that's not unusual. Most of them are kicked at summary, but I've been very impressed, and I came in as a person who at one point had a case with, assisted in a case with a dental board, so I was familiar with a lady that had an issue in Lake County and lived next to Mr. Didius when I lived in Carmichael, so I came in with a bad impression.
Okay, all right.
I mean, that's pretty obvious to know someone who knew those two people might have that. But I've been impressed so far.
So could I paraphrase that? Is reputation good or improving?
It's improving.
Okay, good.
And you can't help, you know, the lake's a natural body, and you certainly, I think you have some very good people on the council. Phil Harris is, I think, an excellent person.
Okay, any other items you'd want to add to this list, and then we'll move on to the next topic. Yes, sir.
Good sense of humor and a problem solver.
Say that for question number 3. I'll make it the first one on there. All right, I think that would be a good chance to pivot here. All right. So this next question I'll ask a few different ways. It's really the same question at its heart. But tell me of some challenges you believe the city's facing in the next few years. Yes, ma'am.
Public perception of the city.
Okay. Yes, sir.
The chronic problem in our city has been a lack of financial resources. There's so much more we could do if we had more money through an ISP.
Okay.
So that's an issue.
So that was resources are constrained. Yes, ma'am.
I think we need better fire code enforcement to clear grass and stuff around the area.
Okay. You had another one right there. Yes.
The new marijuana ordinances,
Okay, could you elaborate?
well, we're going from a position of it's illegal to now it's legal, and we have rules about it for legal grows and legal operations, but there's still going to be a lot of black market stuff going on too.
Got it. Okay. So she had asked, or she commented about the changing marijuana laws, and while some of it's legal, there's still a certain amount out there that's not. Yes, ma'am.
I think we have issues that are complex that we really need some problem-solving skills around and some innovative approaches to things. You know, we need to step outside of ourselves and find out what we're able to do to handle things like squatters in houses, break-ins, the overall general discomfort we as homeowners have for just living here. It has become an issue.
Okay. So if you, I don't know if you all heard that, but she said there's kind of some complex problems that require some creative solutions.
continuity. We've had too many new police chiefs in too short a time.
Okay, need for continuity in the police department?
For the benefit of the community.
I think one of the challenges is that as a small rural community adjacent to larger metropolitans, there's a culture clash that basically the rubber hits the road with the police. We have very little of what you would call gang influence or inner city crime here, but sometimes it does come rubbing up against us. And I think that's a challenge to be pertinent to the meeting. For these guys, that they need to have training that eclipses both rural policing as well as.
Okay, I'll come back to you in just a second. I want to capture this. He said that because of your location, you're in a rural location, but you're close enough to urban areas. Occasionally, urban problems come into Clearlake. Yes, sir.
I think that the focus on the marijuana is kind of eclipsed Clearlake's true deep issues, which is meth and heroin and the use of that stuff, that there's been so much focus put towards the marijuana that it's become glorified for the young bucks out on the street and more of a criminal act for the people enforcing the law, where other things tend to just go by the wayside in meetings like this, like the meth and the heroin. I go hiking a lot around here and I constantly find syringes all over the place. So I mean, whether we address it here or not, it is a problem here and I see it all the time.
Good.
Go from pride to negative.
It's going to happen all day.
Do you want me to stand there and hold it?
Sure.
You're not tall enough.
I need someone taller.
That's not me.
Yes, sir.
Homelessness.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
This city needs a warming center. Basic needs. Transitional housing.
All right, this is always the longest one, by the way, so don't feel bad that you're thinking along the list. That's okay.
So an issue that's related to homelessness is mental health.
Very good.
Many of the people on our streets are, I don't know the exact number, but a good number of them are mentally ill or have mental health issues. More than half.
Yes, sir.
Additional law enforcement.
Additional law enforcement, need for more staffing?
Yes.
Okay.
If we're going to have additional problems, we've got to have additional solutions.
And with that, we might talk about we have empty positions, so we need to create a climate and a component that helps maintain those positions.
So am I hearing you saying retaining the officers you have
Retention issue, yes.
and recruitment as well?
Well, we seem to get them hired, but they don't seem to stay for
Okay.
various reasons. So I think that's an issue that is going to be a big component of what we're looking for in leadership.
The big issue to
Yes, sir.
retain is probably like.
Okay. And for those that didn't hear, he said money's probably a big part of that. Yes, ma'am.
The continued wildfire issue and use of law enforcement resources to evacuate people and keep the streets safe.
Okay, very good. Yes, ma'am.
Some kind of warning system such as notifying the public by cell phone or whatever method, some needed network.
Okay, good.
We already have that.
We have next one.
Have next one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So we're covered?
We already have
Okay.
that.
Yes, ma'am.
We have an animal control issue in the city. We have a lot of wild dogs and feral cats, and
Great.
we help with that.
She said a lot of stray animals in the city. Yes, sir.
We have a lot of blight still left here, and we carry over from past redevelopment. And as the structures have become vacant, businesses no longer there, need some more, need to be looking at trying to fill those blighted structures and rehabilitate them and so forth. Only helps make the city safe. And infrastructure. We have a real terrible problem with infrastructure here, but that also goes back to money.
Okay. So there's a lot there. He said a couple things. There's a lot of blight and vacant structures, which leads to safety issues, and then also need for better infrastructure.
Right. That's infrastructure in the business community. That was infrastructure. That was a two-part. I didn't get the business. They had the business community, but that's about it.
Okay. Very good. Yes, ma'am?
Apathy, where the citizens don't feel they're being heard by their representatives, and they need to be able to have a voice, and all stakeholders from the person that's going to take the trip to the Hill Street Blues, as I call it, to the person with the mansion. So all stakeholders need to be able to have a voice that's heard.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
In some areas, we have a real problem with vagrants. That means people are walking the streets all hours of the day and night. So every day, almost, they're from midnight to 4 in the morning, people are walking on our streets, residential-only neighborhoods.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I understand. Are you concerned about their activity, or are you concerned about their own safety? Like, being out in the streets?
I'm more concerned about the activity of our break-ins during those times, especially to houses that may not be occupied. They're watching that. If you leave for a few weeks, you need to have somebody in and out of your house. It becomes that obvious. And it's the dogs that wake me up to this issue. So I'm up a couple of times a week because the dogs are upset with whatever's going on the streets.
Okay.
With just people wandering and not being respectful.
Okay, for those that didn't hear, she says she's seeing a lot of people out in the middle of the night walking on the streets or suspicious. Very good. Yes, sir.
Just go along with what the young lady up front was saying. I think we just need somebody that's going to have integrity, accountability,
Okay.
some sort of consistency.
Hold that thought to the next question, because then we're going to get into the traits we're looking for in the next police chief.
How about reinstating community patrol to cut down on crime in the city?
Okay. So reinstate, was this a program that was here before?
Well, they had community patrol before, and it really cut down on crime in the city. But they did away with it.
Okay. He said the reinstated community patrol program that used to be here in the past, so I'll just add that. Okay, so let's just change this question up just a little bit. Some challenges you might see for the next police chief when he or she takes office. So to the individual now, what are some individual challenges? Yes, sir.
If we bring in a new police chief and he's got a really decent salary, where is he gonna live in this town? Please, I mean, this town, how do I put it? We don't need to bring in somebody who's not gonna be satisfied with this town. We need to have somebody that wants to be this town,
Right.
not just the police chief, not just the payroll.
Yeah, I understand. Great. For anyone that didn't hear, he said whoever the next chief is has to be integrated in the community, has to be part of the community. Is that what I got?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. All right, any other challenges you see the next chief having? Yes, ma'am.
Probably competitive
wage.
Hang on just a second.
One of the challenges is that we have a lot of vagrants, as was mentioned before. And a lot of those vagrants hang around the business areas and drive customers away. Furthermore, we often have dogs that are menacing to tourists or residents or anybody that comes near the business. So that's one of the challenges that we'll be facing that person.
Okay, so she said another challenge is that there are some vagrants in the community, sometimes with dogs that are not friendly, that are at odds with business friendliness. Yes, sir.
I think the word vagrant is the wrong word we're using in this community. Folks, we need to open our eyes. These are our homeless community. These are the people that are in our community. These people are homeless. We see them every day. A lot of you know my face, and you know I work for one of these commercial businesses. And I see them on a day-to-day basis. This community needs to address our homeless problem. So I think that's going to be one of the challenges for our police chief.
Yeah, good. So again, for anyone that didn't hear, he said that there really needs to be a community response to the homeless problem.
We did a study on the homeless when I was on the grand jury, and we found that a lot of the people that are on the streets as homeless have homes in the area, but they like the lifestyle of the homeless. So they joined that group. Apparently it's attractive to some people. We found a lot of them that had money coming in, disability or whatever, but they didn't utilize it to help themselves. Further, we found that they weren't actually people from here, but people that came here, thinking that it was an easy place to beg, since few ordinances are actually...
It's a complex issue for sure.
Yes, it is very complex. It's not simple at all.
Yeah. You had one in the back, sir?
Yeah, I think actually maintaining devotion to their duty to serve all the people of the community. I think a lot of times when you hire somebody new, they come in and they've got a great mentality, but it gets lost very short after that. And I think maintaining that is what this city needs.
Good.
Consistency.
All right, yes ma'am.
Okay, I think it's also identifying problems, clearly defining what not only the visual problem, but the root cause of those problems are, and also some of them are not necessarily universal to the whole city. We talked about business areas, we have rural parts of the city, we have commercial and residential in the central parts of the city. We have different kinds of problems in different areas. So it's really an analysis of our problems, what the fundamental roots of those problems are, and the ability to make plans of action to implement for those specifically.
Okay, very good. And for those that didn't hear, she said there was a need to identify the root causes of problems and address the root causes of problems in different parts of the city because they are different.
Would you like to hear?
Oh, yes, sir.
Go
ahead.
Well, I thought wages might be a consideration because to recruit new officers to come up here, they can go to Sonoma County and make twice as much and things like that. So that's definitely going to be a challenge for someone who's not familiar with small towns.
Sure. Yeah, that was something I've heard already, that the salaries are higher, much higher in nearby areas, so that exacerbates the retention problem. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
I think the new chief is going to face issues of acceptance not only from the community but from the force. the police force itself.
Great. She said a new chief may face troubles gaining acceptance. Yes, sir.
Tackling the meth and the other drugs, heroin, stuff like that, it's gone under the radar for so long that whoever comes in, it's going to be a big issue.
Good. Yes, sir.
New chiefs coming in is going to be met with a lot of different scenarios and problems, besides all of those that you have on the board and on all the papers. Going to have some problems, you understand, of being able to be innovative enough to work with all of the different organizations throughout the city, all the cultural organizations, you know. And since I've been here before incorporation, and I've seen a lot of good, bad, and ugly, and back to good again. But I think that whoever the new person is, they need to have a tone on the community. They need to have a feel for small town communities like this and some of the challenging problems that they've already experienced and some new ones here that we are experiencing, and they're gonna have to have an open door attitude in dealing with the public and be respectful of the public, you know.
Okay. Some of that's going to fit on the next question when we ask about traits, but I'm going to put some of it on here too.
I can just hold.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to step back to the staffing and recruitment, staffing and retention. It's often laid at the feet of salary, and in fact, that hasn't proven so for the SO. They gave a bunch of raises and they're down more than ever at this point. So there's some other X factor to retention that is, I don't know what it is, but it's interesting to note that acting over here has managed to fully staff the department and retain for the most part. So it's, I don't know if you can just call it salary. I think QOL, quality of life, is more a factor.
Culture.
So he's saying, yes, there's a recruitment and retention issue, but there's more to it than just money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. I don't see any more hands right now, so we're going to move to question number 3. So what are some skills, traits, styles, qualities, personalities that you would like to see in the next police chief? We've had a couple of them out there already. We'll start with the most recent one. You said the ability really to connect to all the different segments.
Connect to all the different segments of the community across cultural and other aspects, seniors, elderly, just in general, local citizens, have an open door policy where the citizen concerns are taken, you know, at heart, and the citizen is made to feel like they're, you know, their concerns are important, you know, and have an attitude, you know, understand that he works for the people, you know, works for this community, you know, instead of having the attitude, you understand, well, I really don't care what you think. I mean, we're gonna do it this way or that way, you know.
All right, I think I heard 4 things in all that, so we'll see if that's all right. The ability to connect to people.
Right. But the police department.
Open door accessible.
Right, but the police department already have a complaint form that was developed by them and the local NAACP here many years ago, and an accommodation form, okay, that they can just fill out, you know, and turn in. And those complaints, you understand, would be addressed, you know. So somebody mentioned something a moment ago about a complaint process or something, but the police department already has that, you know. But what they need to do is they need to adhere to these policies and not just let them fall by the wayside, and then the people just feel like, you understand, that they don't care.
Okay.
You know.
Ma'am?
Yeah, we need someone who's already committed to this community. I'm 80 years old. I don't have time for somebody to come in and try and get acquainted with everybody, try and fit in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So want somebody that's committed to the
Committed
community.
to this community already.
Sir in the back?
Integrity.
Of course.
Accountability.
Yeah.
Commitment.
All good ones. Integrity, accountability, and commitment.
Pride.
Yep.
And when you say integrity too, I think we need somebody who we feel doesn't have anything on their plate already that has a partial concern. Because I think that's also what we want, that clean slate. We want public trust again. And we need that to be, not have black marks in their past. I think there's a lot of issues around skill sets.
I'd like to second that.
I'd like to third that.
Here, here.
I know you're still writing, but I want to bring up that they need to be able to enact procedural justice, of course, the officer's safety and the public safety, and it's very hard to have to think about the Constitution when somebody's shooting you, but I think that's an important procedural justice. Someone who's not going to use defensiveness, justification, and politicization to explain probably previous actions. Someone who's not on the Brady list. I mean, I think that would be obvious.
All right, so let me get us all caught up. So integrity, accountability, public trust, an impeccable background, and someone who will uphold procedural justice.
Did you say on the Brady list?
That all fits in there.
Yeah, right.
So
Second, third, and fourth for accountability and clean past.
okay. Yes, sir, in the back.
Being beyond reproach.
Perfect. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I know in the past when we've had doctors come here, they like the area, but their wife doesn't. So, because sometimes the wife is used to a big city or, you know, and so that's kind of a concern. It's maybe not the most major, but, I mean, it's a factor.
It's a retention.
Yeah, and it's something I have to consider in every recruitment, so I already have that one up here. Yes, sir.
I have a couple. Number one would be a community interest thing. That would be a preponderance for de-escalation in incidents.
Good.
And the other would be a productive relationship with the media. And I can give a really strong example of why. The Lakeport Chief, for example, exploits the local media, and I'm speaking about the local media. The Lakeport Chief exploits the local media in times of missing persons and you name it, stolen vehicles, all kinds of different stuff, to extreme benefit by letting local media know. And then those of us in the media blast that information, and these things are generally taken care of in record time. It's pretty interesting.
Good. Okay, so Got it. So two things. He said first one is use of de-escalation of conflict, and second one was
Productive
relationship with local media. All right, yes, sir, in the yellow.
I'd like to see a police chief that is a local person, that has roots here, that knows what it takes to live here. I don't want to see somebody come in with grand ideas and leave because we're not his community.
Okay, I think everybody heard that, probably local roots.
Family oriented, somebody that's involved with the kids in the community.
But I also feel I'm not raised here. I wasn't born here, and my husband and I are transplants, and we are very involved in the community. I think if you have the right person that has these qualities, you could find somebody that has some great ideas to make the community help as well. I understand
myself. Only been here 7 years, but I'd like to see some changes.
I agree. Yeah, but I think you could also have someone that's not necessarily from this area that could do a great job too.
Everybody comes in and can't afford it.
Or to capture your comment, just someone, if they're not from here, willing to integrate.
Yep.
Yes, sir, in the back.
Implementing and maintaining maybe a physical fitness standard for law enforcement. It's kind of hard to fear the law enforcement when you don't worry about them getting out of the vehicle.
Okay. All right.
I did law enforcement, so.
Yes, sir.
Me?
Yes.
I think that leadership within the department is the most important thing, where they instill a pride within the department. Men want to be here, they want to be the most professional in the county and even the state. And that kind of goes along with the physical fitness, to look professional, to act professional, and to just, and get the officers that want to stay here and a lot from around here that really take pride in their own department.
Okay, so here, leadership, pride, professionalism.
Yeah. And someone that the officers actually look up to and respect.
All right, very good. Yes, ma'am.
I want to just expand on the leadership, because I really think we're looking for innovation in leadership, where people can be very clear on visions that are going to be focused on problem solving in our community, retention. We need somebody who has the leadership skills to put the department on a very healthy path of retention, on a very healthy path of community relations. So they have to have the skills to understand and be able to communicate and facilitate the growth of that leadership in all of their staff.
Very good. I'm just going to try to distill that down to a couple of words.
However you want.
All right. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Yeah. Me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Making sure that the department is acting within the guidelines of state and federal laws, and they are in compliance with state and federal laws at all times.
He just said that making sure that the police department stays legal within state and federal laws.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have one more attribute, and that is team building.
Great.
We really need somebody who understands those skills. As everybody has said, we have a lot of volunteers, we have a lot of organizations that come together. We need to be able to pull those organizations together for the benefit of everybody. And there's some really critical pieces that really need to be addressed around that from the chief.
Yeah, great. Team building, collaboration, really important. Yes, ma'am.
You're afraid I'm going to say Brady again. I can tell by your face.
We got it.
Somebody that can easily segue in between the authoritative, transformational, situational, because they're all, of course, necessary, but somebody who can use all different skill sets and at the time they need it.
Great.
And who can discipline their officers if necessary and terminate them if necessary.
So 2 things I heard there. One was adapt their skill to the situation, and the other was to hold the department accountable, to including termination.
But not to go overboard, because sometimes it's just a little thing, and to really be able to know the difference.
Any others? Going once? Yes, ma'am.
Well, I want a chief that uses all the tools that's available to him, such as, say, you have a mentally disturbed person that has a knife. Instead of shooting them, they maybe shoot a net over them.
Sure.
Capture them.
Yeah, but your point's well taken, because we had de-escalation on the past sheet, and that's what that's all about.
Yeah, so I want them to address each situation as what is necessary for that.
Adherence to the ladder of force, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got that on the other one, so good. Yes, sir.
Treat everyone equal, not just some.
Good. Yes, sir.
You also need a chief that is innovative and not afraid to go out and apply for grants and bring department into the 21st century, and being able to, that is also part of retention as well, and training, and more training for the officers,
Great. So resourceful, more training,
Right.
Progressive.
Right, progressive, that's it.
Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Somebody who puts, like Bill, right, their officers first. They're the ones delivering the police services. They need the equipment. They need to be safe. They have to be able to do their job. But, if they don't feel everything's going to go to heck in a handbasket.
Okay. So she said putting the officers first, making sure they have the tools and training they need. It's what's commonly called servant leadership. Thought I saw another hand. I saw two of them. Yes, sir.
Me?
Yes.
I think it's important that the leader is able to work with the other leaders in the county, such as the other agencies, CHP, animal control, sheriff's office, and not have a conflict between the two agencies, as has happened in the past.
Great. So good working relationships with local agencies.
And the feds.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, for a small department, this is one of the busiest there is. And I'd like to know that someone can come in or is here that is young enough to be able to handle that.
Okay. I'll just say work ethic because we can't hire based on age. All right, in the back.
Producing a proactive police force rather than reactive.
Yes.
Good. Yes, sir.
A good sense of humor.
Yeah, it's always important.
I have one more.
All right.
Should have sensitivity skills. With various situations, deal with a whole array of different citizens and, mixed. And,
All right. So he said sensitive to various viewpoints, really, all different types of peoples and cultures.
Skills.
Good PR.
Good PR. Yeah.
Someone who does not own a boat or any watercraft. Sorry.
There's a sense of humor. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I think that you need somebody that works, develops programs that work more with the youth than we have now. Police Activities League, Boy Scouts, things like that. The youth groups to get the kids going on the right path.
Yeah, so he said being able to connect to the various youth groups in the city. Good. Yes, sir, in the back.
I think we need a police chief that's already recognizable in this community by the young.
Okay. So locally respected?
Yes.
We need a chief that's already recognizable by the young and old in this community.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to talk about sensitivity because sometimes I don't always feel that people who are starting to feel unsafe because of something as simple as burglaries, that's like too easy for them. It's wanting to do something more important. And what they lose in that is our comfort of feeling safe in our community. I think it's been going the wrong way, and we need to recognize that people's feelings about being comfortable and safe in our community is what this small community is like fundamentally wanting to get back to.
So I'm hearing you say that there's a balance, you think, between maybe
hardcore,
law and order versus
minor, what they consider too minor to not, the whole issue around not going out on burglaries under $2,000 or without guns. It's like, oh, well, we can't really prosecute that anymore. Well, then we just have had an increase or an escalation in that. And that's very uncomfortable for those of us who are being robbed. So it's that sensitivity to the smaller pieces.
Okay,
As
got it.
well.
All right. So I think what I'm hearing you say now is that even little things are important.
Yes.
Yeah.
If the DA will charge, it becomes an issue for the police officers.
I understand, but how do we, it's still, how
Oh,
do we
I know.
figure it out?
It's a problem. Well, there's gonna be a new DA anyway.
All right, fresh piece of paper. Any others? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think the chief should recognize that this community is at about a 30% poverty level, and we can deal with that, understand that, and be able to work with that.
Okay, good. All right, yes, sir, one more.
Just the courage to actually stand up and get pressured by the people that may be higher. The courage to stand up to that.
Yeah. Anything else? All right, well, I just want to take this opportunity and thank you all for coming. And I mean, this is a great attendance. You know, I do these community meetings in many police chief searches, and the number of people that are here speaks a lot about how much you care about your community. And you know, I want to thank Greg Folsom and the City Council for providing this venue, because it will help me do a better search if I can listen and hear and understand what your needs are. So thank you, everybody. Much appreciated.
And you're a chief, you were a chief of police yourself,
I was.
correct? Right, throughout it. Thank you.
Can you, give us a little, input on what